Listen up, for knowledge has spoken. How you doing, dear community? Today's program is religion versus spirituality. What are the differences and why are more people choosing to leave their traditional religion or to merge their traditional religion with spiritual practices that make sense and enhance their lives? Now, religion usually has a name. People ask you what your religion is. You say Christianity, Islam, Judaism. It usually has a book. For the Christians, it is usually the Bible. For the Jews, the Torah, the Pentateuch, or whatever they refer to it as. And for Muslims, the Holy Quran. There are some other books and some other religions, such as Buddhism, Hinduism, that all have their books as well, their traditions, their practices, their rules, their laws, their ethics. But the spiritual-minded person is open to all of that and then some. They realize that spirituality is a moving organism, that we're constantly growing and evolving. So traditions that no longer make sense are put to the side or discarded because spirituality is based on practice, experience, what uniquely makes sense in our lives, growth, and development. Now, you would think that this makes a person less what you would call ethical, but it's not true because spirituality is based on what most religions call the golden rule. It is the doing right by oneself, thus the doing right by others in humanity, which makes us people that are more aware of what's going on with ourselves and others and striving to have a better experience while making humanity even more better. Now, in religion, we often have a teaching that has a hell or heaven experience, physically in many cases. So when one does wrong, they carry what is called guilt and shame. And this fear of after death experiencing this punishment keeps people afraid of doing what they call wrong during this life. Spirituality challenges that. Spirituality says that, wow, I know that I have a preacher in religion, an imam, a rabbi. They tell me everything. They guide me. But what is it that I'm being called to, and what's inside of me guiding me? So in religion, we often listen to others. We are preached at, we are talked to. We go to a sermon. We ask questions. But with spirituality, we go within. We look at our problems and we find the answers ourselves. Spirituality is an exercise. It causes us to say, you know what? I was practicing this yesterday, but it no longer makes sense to me. Let me evolve. And so with spirituality, there are three things. Three that we are going to delve into to strengthen our movement towards enlightenment. Now, I'm not saying religious people can't find this, but remember, if someone is talking to you constantly, telling you what to do, they sometimes disagree and drown out your own voice, your own intuitive process, your own ability to make conclusions and formulate what's right and what's wrong for you. Do you know that scientists are studying this thing called the gut? They call the gut the second brain because the gut basically is a mass of nerves that they have now been studying, which carries sensitive stimuli not just from within the body, but from one's environment. You probably heard somebody say, man, I have a gut instinct that I ought to do something different. My gut tells me this, my gut tells me that. So they have realized that the gut sometimes informs the brain. But what most people do is they wait till it's too late and they deny what their gut is trying to tell them. And by that time, it's too late to make a decision that is good for them. So they're studying now the cause of mental illness, and they're saying that one of the things that they are studying is how the gut actually sends messages to the brain and informs the brain. And people who are in tune with their gut, as well as what's in their mind, are people that are better guided and have less disease. Because a lot of times the gut, if it's not in tune, that people often deny the gut's messages to the brain, and this causes a distortion in what they truly should experience, think, and feel, and it can even cause a problem in cognition, which can cause mental disease. So now therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists are studying the gut. They even have studies that the gut can send different pathogens to the brain, causing mental disorder and mental disease. That's how important intuition is. What is intuition? Intuition is actually the ability to rely on unique answers coming to us in an instant without having to overthink. Some people call this a still voice within. But when we go to school and we have our idea of this still voice within, our teachers, our parents, our preachers are always telling us not to listen. So we drowned out that voice that often guides us. The people that are more in tune with their life and alive pay attention to this stillness, this intuition. It's what is called spontaneity, a connection with our feelings and our thoughts. Now, there are three types of thinking. There's subconscious, conscious, superconscious. Subconscious is happening all the time. It's put there through our feelings and our emotions. It's always guiding us. And a lot of times people are not sick because of what they're consciously thinking. They're sick because of what's in their subconscious mind. And that's why mindfulness and meditation at times will bring up both positive and negative that we have to look at. And if we're not mindful and we don't feel and we are not in tune with our subconscious mind, we are going through life repeating mistakes, repeating the wrong relationships, heading for disaster just because we're not in tune with our subconscious. Most of our thinking is not conscious at all. It's in our subconscious. Now, people that are in tune with their subconscious and are able to direct their conscious mind, they'll find that they can connect through intuition, through their instinct, and they can couple their feelings and what they think and what they feel, and they are guided all the time. And they make less mistakes. So when somebody comes with some information that's contrary to what you're feeling within, you can say, no, there's something wrong about this business deal. There's something wrong about what this person is guiding me to. And you're more apt to do those things in life that have more to do with your calling rather than people controlling you from without. That's spirituality. So when people try to interpret for you, the Bible says, the Quran says, you look at it, you read. Now the spiritual person is open. Yeah, tell me what the Bible says. Tell me what the Quran says. Tell me what the doctrine of the Ayurvedic tradition tells me. Tell me what Buddhist philosophy tells me, and then allow me to study and allow me to take in what I can use for my specific unique experience, and then what I don't, discard. I'm looking for my own answers and seeking my own tradition and my own practice, and I'm growing as an individual. That is spirituality. Now, the gut is called the enteric nervous system. The reason why there's so much anxiety with some of us is because we don't listen to ourselves. We don't know how to be at peace and be still. And sometimes when you don't feel that it's right, 9 times out of 10, it isn't. So pay attention to what's giving you peace and what's making you anxious. Pay attention to what environment feels like it's in tune and in harmony with you intuitively, and that which is not. Now, you don't just make things based on how you feel. You also use cognition and intellect, your experiences, what went right, what went wrong, but you also pay attention to everything within you that connects to what's outside of you. So, a lot of us are ruled by fear. Oh, I'm going to go to hell. This is going to happen. Spirituality says if I make this decision, there's a consequence that I don't want to have. So if I eat the wrong food, I know I'm going to get sick. If I'm stressed out, I know I'm going to deteriorate. If I make this decision, then this is going to happen. Then you don't have to wait until you die for hell. Hell is a consequence that's made, a poor choice, a poor decision, and you're in a hell of a situation. Heaven is peace of mind and contentment from making proper choices, proper decisions that you experience now on earth while you live. So spirituality is based on intuition, inference, which means I'm going to draw a conclusion based on what I'm feeling, what I know from the past, and what I've learned. And I'm always learning more. I'm always feeling more, and I can make better inferences. Therefore, I'm guided from within. Nobody has to sit over me and tell me. And then religion promotes all these deities, these preachers, these rabbis, who are just human like you, and they fall too. They have issues too. They sometimes stumble and fall too. But spirituality says, I'm not going to condemn myself for my mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But let me draw from my mistakes, my experiences, and let me draw those things in that can improve myself, improve me as a human being, so that my experience tomorrow is better. Spirituality is growth and development and openness, while many times religion is closed to a book, to a particular religious name, and closed to tradition. So which one will you choose? Will you choose religion, or will you choose spirituality, your guidance, your intuitiveness, your openness, your aliveness, your wellness, and receiving more and more information and practice that's going to make you better each day? Which one will you choose? This is why many are leaving traditional religion, and they are opening up to enlightenment and spirituality. Peace, dear family. Listen up. I hope you've gotten something out of today's message.